Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and the final paper craft project for my Christmas in July mini-series. This video we're going to be making this cute little Christmas tree. It's in the snow with a nice nighttime sky and you can see the mountains and a forest behind it. This, as I said, is a free SVG from craftwithsarah.com. And I'm going to show you how to get the design into Cricut Design Space, how to cut it out, and then, most importantly, how to stick it all together. Let's get started. You can download the free cutting file for this project at craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs or follow the link in the description of this video to go straight to the download page. The download comes in a zip folder and you need to unzip this before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, open up Cricut Design Space and start a new project. Click Upload in the left and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find the file on your computer or you can drag and drop it in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the folder and then the file to choose is the one which starts SVG in the file name. I'm going to click and drag that in and then it should look like this with all of the layers one on top of the other. If yours looks different and you see the layers next to each other instead, that means you've accidentally uploaded the wrong file. So if that's the case, click Cancel down on the bottom right and then Start again and make sure you choose the one which starts SVG. When it's looking like this, press the green Upload button and then the image will appear in your recent uploads. So you can click it to get a green border around the edge and then press Add to Canvas. This is what it looks like when it loads and you can see all of the layers down the right hand side. To resize the design to match your shadow box or greetings card or wherever it is that you want to display it, first make sure the little padlock icon above the width and height boxes is closed. If it's open like mine is, just click it to close it, and sometimes you have to click it twice. It's a little bit buggy on occasion. To resize it, then all you need to do with that padlock closed is type in a new width or a new height, so just one of them, press enter, and then the other dimension will automatically change in proportion. This would now be ready to cut, but if you wanted to, you could remove the background of the mountains and the snow to just cut the Christmas tree. To do that, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the Layers panel and then click the eye icon next to the bottom few layers. There's 5 in total to do and the last one is the white snow, and then you end up with just the Christmas tree. So now if you were to go and click Make It, it would ignore those background layers and just do the tree. To turn them back on at any point, just click the eye again and then they'll come back on. When you're ready, click Make It over on the top right and this will separate everything out onto the different colours of cardstock. To change the paper size, use the drop down on the left, and you do need to do that for every single colour. So I would need to go through and change it to A4 because that's mostly what I use. You can see you've got all of these tiny little yellow bits, and you may choose to use sequins or gemstones instead, but I'm going to cut all of mine out so that I can show you how to put it together exactly as it appears in the design. When you're happy with how everything's looking, click Continue and then it will connect to your Cricut machine. Then you can follow the on-screen instructions to get all of the layers cut out from cardstock. Here are all of my layers cut out and I've just roughly laid them one on top of the other so that I can check that I'm happy with all of the colours and how it's all looking. I think what I'm going to do first is just glue all of these little yellow bits on so that I know they're exactly in the right place. To do that, I'm going to use some Collall glue, which is my favourite for paper craft projects because it doesn't bend or wrinkle the card like other glues can do. And then I put it into these needle tip applicator bottles, which is going to be absolutely perfect for adding a tiny bit of glue under all of these little baubles. Let's just do these one at a time, trying not to dislodge everything else. I did make a bit of a pig's ear of that. I just dropped it. Oh dear. The good thing is it doesn't really matter if they're not exactly in the same position that they are in the SVG file. You can put them wherever you want them to go. Or if you wanted maybe a tree without any decorations, you could leave them off. Or perhaps you could, instead of using the little paper circles, you could add sequins or gemstones or something like that for extra sparkle, and that would be really pretty when the light catches it. It would look like proper Christmas decorations. I'm just going to go through all of these, and through the magic of video, speed it all up so that you don't have to watch me painstakingly try and stick every single one. There's all my little ones glued, and whilst I'm here, I'm also going to add the foam squares for the red ones. Again, just because now I know they're in the right place. So I think it's going to be easier to do this now rather than take them all off and have to line them up again at the end. So this time I'm using foam because these ones are bigger, so it's easier to get that foam on. It would have been pretty tricky for the yellow ones. And there aren't as many of these either, so it's not going to take me quite as long, hopefully, to stick these ones on. Right, now that I know I'm not going to lose those, we can move on to sticking everything else together. We need to work at the bottom and then go upwards. So I'm going to move all of these layers to the side, and then we've got this one, which is the mountains above the sky, and this one is going to be a foam square layer. This is a big piece of card, so it's going to need quite a bit of foam to give it a good stick and make sure everything stays stable. So I'm putting my foam squares around the edge, and I'll also put them in the middle. If you don't put any in the middle, then there's nothing to support all of this space of card, so you'll probably find that it will dome downwards, which is fine, but it won't look as good as if you put some foam squares in the middle so that it's got a firm surface to lie on, and then it won't dome downwards. Luckily my foam squares are quite small, so I can just about fit them in that outer line. But if yours are bigger and don't fit, then just trim them smaller with a pair of scissors, because you don't want the foam squares to overlap any of these edges of cardstock, otherwise you'll see it when you turn it round. And we want all of this foam to stay nice and hidden. We don't want to be able to see it. Now I'm peeling the backs off of the top of the foam squares to release all of that stickiness underneath. Right, now here's my base piece of the sky, and I'm going to line this up and then just gently put it down. And then if I'm not happy with the positioning, I can just pick it up and move it again without damaging anything. Okay, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to push it down. Oops, I kind of bent it a little bit there. I probably could have done with a few more foam squares under that top bit, but it'll be fine. The next layer is the second mountains, and this one will be a glue layer. I'll get my little glue tool again, which means I can just whiz it around there really quickly. And I can add the glue to the rest of the layer. Pick it up, bring that one back in, and then I'll stick that over the top. Next we have the trees, and I'm going to use my foam squares for this one. Then I can line it up just like before, gently, gently, and then push down to seal. Next we've got the snow layer, and I'm going to glue this one. This one will be quite hard for you to see, I think, because it's a white bit of card on a white table. There. Oh, not quite lined up. The nice thing about glue is you've got that wiggle room for if you've missed it a little bit. Next is the bottom of the tree, and I was kind of undecided on this one, but I think I will glue it because in real life it would, you know, be further closer to the eye or the camera or whatever it is that you're looking at it at than the snow and the trees. So foam it is for this one. These foam pads I'm using are quite thick. It says they're 2mm, but I think they're 3, because all of my other 2mm ones are not this thick. But never mind. It just means there's more of an impact. Oh, missed that a little bit. Okay, tree trunk done. Onto the green of the tree. Starting with this layer, which will be a foam one. I'm quite pleased I've already done all those decorations so that I don't need to worry about that at the end. Got the annoying part done first. Right, let's stick this one. There we go. And then the next layer is the lighter part of green, and this one I will glue. You could foam it if you want, but I think 4 layers for all of the 4 green bits would probably be a bit much. So I'm just going to foam the darker bits and glue the lighter one. Especially because these foam squares I'm using are really thick. Next we've got the darker bit, which, as I just said, will be a foam. Don't need as many pieces now because the bits of card are getting smaller. Right, that one on the top. And then the last bit of green, which is another lighter piece, will be glued. Finally, we have 2 pieces of the star. You've got one with an extra little kind of semicircle at the bottom, and that's to act like the kind of base that you use to thread it onto that top of the tree. So that one will be glued on. Just sits there. And then the next one, to actually make that star ornament, we'll use a little bit of foam for that final pop of dimension. Okay, make sure I line up the points. Oops. There we go. Oh, that bit underneath is still wet, so it's moving about. But there is my Christmas tree layered design all finished, and you can see this one really does have a lot of layers and dimension to it, but it ends up looking absolutely beautiful and perfect for Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make this Christmas tree layered design. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut crafts and free SVGs. Thank you for watching. Bye!